and then came up here and have handled thousands of uh, criminal cases in the courts here in the 19th century. Thousands.
Wow.
I think you and I have seen each other in the courtroom.
Well, yes, we have. No, explain that. The people are just tuning in. They might say, "Yes, I know. I met him on what do they call it? Friday
First appearances.
first appearances on Fridays with the sheriff."
Yeah, and then
I was not under arrest.
in the second and third time, but actually the fourth time I saw you in the courtroom, you weren't under arrest at any of those times, or accused of any crimes at that point. I saw you during two sentencings, one in misdemeanor court and one in felony court. And then I saw you at the Citizens Academy, where I was the presenter.
That's right, you spoke.
I did.
Shane is interrupting, yes.
I just want to let everyone know we have 1 minute. I have also absconded with some batteries from somewhere else.
Oh.
So we are now officially on YouTube.
Oh, we're live on YouTube. Okay, great.
Going to turn the camera before I actually point out that I also hacked into your Bureau of Voice YouTube account to get us online today.
How did you do that? Well, don't explain on the air.
I thought about it hard enough and I remembered what the password was.
Oh, okay. Great.
So we're on YouTube. We're back in probably about 20 seconds, and I can't be standing here in 20 seconds or else we don't go back on the air. So.
Okay, thank you. Are we getting ready to go back on the air, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Mayor of the Airwaves, and we're on 1370 AM, 107.9 FM, and nationally you can watch us on iHeartRadio, or listen to us on iHeartRadio, WAXE, like a candle, wax, E, WAXE. Tell them we're going to go live on the radio.
We're going to go live on the radio.
And you say, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Say bye-bye.
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 Now, see what happens. Not only did we have, watch, I'll show you something. In that time, we had 18 viewers.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Now, that'll also stay on and will be read throughout the day. Probably by the end of the day, there'll be 184 to 245 people that will have viewed that again. As they go by, they can choose to watch. They tend to like videos.
Yeah, people do.
Yeah, so. Another beautiful day in paradise, ladies and gentlemen. How are you?
It certainly is. You might think you're in Ireland, for God's sake.
You might think you're in Ireland. That's right.
Until you went outside.
Liam and Shane.
Like I told you before, I'm Irish.
You're Irish. That's right. He was born on St. Patrick's Day. I do want to say this. Martin Luther King, who I read about voluminously when I was a younger man. I actually flew to Zimbabwe, Africa with his widow, Coretta Scott King, years ago. But he said this: returning violence for violence multiplies violence, adding a deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only love can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Martin Luther King. And anybody in this town knows when I was in the Martin Luther King Day Parade this past year, for some reason that was the quote I used. And with my megaphone, I was yelling it out to the crowds, all of them as I went by, saying, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that, Martin Luther King. And it seems a very appropriate quote. What a brilliant man. This guy was brilliant. Look at those quotes. You know, he died at 39.
Well, think how timeless that quote is.
Yeah.
That's what true brilliance is.
And to know that, I mean, it's taken me years of chewing on philosophies and thought to realize, you know, that love is the answer. Of course, Jesus already knew it, and Martin Luther King knew it. You know, I had a friend of mine, excuse me, it's not a friend, acquaintance. He was a photographer for Martin Luther King. He happened to be white. And during this, he started to become very famous. The other guys around him, like this, who's this guy he ran for office? His son got in trouble. He's very famous. He gets, you know, $40,000 a speech. One of the most famous black individuals.
Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, Jesse Jackson.
It's actually his son ran for. His son was a congressman. I don't know. I don't remember Reverend Jackson
saying, "Hey, you know, what was the point I was going to make here? Oh, fire Whitey, fire Whitey." And Martin Luther King says, well, "This is what we're all about. Why would I want to fire him because he's white?" Anyway, so this photographer said that he was on a plane one time with Martin Luther King, and he was having some personal problems. And he said, you know, he took off his hat unbuttoned his tie, and for that 2 hours or whatever, he said he became my pastor and ministered to me. And that says a lot to me. Then later on in life, I don't know if he's still alive, this photographer living in South Florida, he said Simon & Schuster or Random House or one of these big houses came to him and said, we'd like you to write a book. We'll give you $1 million, but you can write anything you want for the 9 chapters, but the 10th chapter has to be a chapter that suggests that Martin Luther King was not faithful to his wife. And he said, I could have really used the money. He said, but I refused to write. He said, let me explain something to you. He said, as the press back then, the media, we would have known, we all conferred. And if somebody was doing something, we would have known about it. And he said, there was never a conversation about that back then. But to the point where they fed this lie to where people actually believe, you tell a lie long enough, Let me ask you this, let's get back to that. We're having the presidential race. You are running for judgeship. Which judgeship are you running for?
Circuit Court Judge.
Okay, Kiernan Moylan. I kind of spaced out there. What was I talking about right before that?
You were talking about how lies, if you continue to tell a lie long enough.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking about Trump.
Okay.
Trump is being pretty hard on Hillary, and he knows exactly what he's doing by saying, what does he call her? Lying. Crooked Hillary.
Right.
And he's going to continue with that, and it's starting to affect, right? I mean, I met Hillary. She treated me okay. So I never had aught against Hillary until, of course, what's going down with Benghazi. And the only reason I know something was very bad with Benghazi is because the day after Benghazi, a retired professor came in here and she put me in the back room. She said, I will not go on the air, but I want you to know this is not about that video. Now, the whole world, probably you, everybody, we all thought it was the video. She came in and said, it's not about the video. She said, blah, 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 blah. And she said, they've been asking for protection for the longest time. Now, anyway, that's pretty amazing, right? So Trump is very hard on Hillary, and Hillary's hard on Trump. You running for Kiernan Moylan, you're running for judgeship. You're not allowed to really contest each other or brazenly.
I think what the canons, the judicial canons, and that's what makes this race completely different than other races that you see going on right now, is that if you were a judicial candidate, or a sitting judge for that matter, you have these canons that you must follow. And it's really to make
now,
sure.
What's a cannon? Is that something you put a big ball in, you shoot it at somebody?
Well, they're called canons, and that's what they are. A canon's like a principle or a code that you must live by.
Yeah.
And it's to make sure that we hold the integrity of the judiciary up. And that's what's important here. I mean, what we talked about, respecting law enforcement and respecting the laws, and clearly if the judiciary isn't held to a higher standard and live by that standard, then people aren't going to respect the courts.
And actually, biblically,
agreed.
You are.
Yes, agreed. And so, so the canons require that you not get into what people may call mudslinging or making accusations. You can clearly state if there's something that is true about an individual that you may be running against, or for that matter, you better make sure that whatever you're saying about yourself is true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had one guy here years ago, 19 years ago, said he was a war hero. He was running for, I think it was, what's the office? Not city council, but commissioner.
County commissioner.
And they, Carol, who was it? The former mayor, she was running against him, and they found out that he left town disgraced because he lied.
Now, if you have an ad, if you run a radio ad, you have to have it cleared?
Well, I have to have approved it. Okay, if I'm paying for it, I have to approve it and disclose it. There are certain parameters, which again, there are opinions that are put out by the Judicial Ethics Advisory Commission that give you an understanding of what's fair and what's not. What do you want to say? It's
I've seen that attorneys that come to me and say, well, I want to have it cleared before I put it on the air.
Okay, well, that's different. Now, attorneys that'll come in and say they're going to run an ad saying that they've gotten so much money for their clients or stuff like that. Those ads you can run by the Florida bar and make sure that it's okay what the scope and subject matter of that ad is.
But the judge is not subject to that?
You could, certainly I could ask the the Judicial Ethics Advisory Commission
If
to give
you
me
thought, if you thought we were going to stray a little.
if I thought it was going to be great, I had somebody approach me with a really neat mailing piece. I mean, it was a neat mailing piece, and he proposed that this is what we should do for your campaign, and I liked it. But when you get that feeling that the reason why you like it is probably not why you want to do it, and so the first thing that I did was call Judge Davidson, who's the head of the elections part of the Judicial Ethics Advisory Commission, and asked her, here's my thought. And
We need an objective.
well, that's a safe harbor. If I call her and she says it's okay, then although it's not immunity, it is if the Supreme Court didn't like whatever I did and the committee told me it was okay, then I can certainly point that as part of my defense that I did my diligence and I did. So there is those type of things, but it's, again, as long as you're running the standard type of.
Did you check it?
I did check it, and
And did you run it?
I did not. It wasn't. It was a mailing piece, and again. So
Why didn't you run it?
Because what they will tell you is that they invite you down when you sign up to be a candidate. They invite you down to a forum. It's called the Judicial Candidates Conduct Forum. And they put you in this room with all the other candidates. Some of them are sitting judges. Some of them are just like me running for the first time. And they tell you, we have thousands of attorneys in Florida, and there are thousands of good attorneys. And a lot of those people would make good judges. So if you can't follow the rules, we don't need you.
We have a backup.
We got to back up. And if you break the rules, we will remove you even after you were elected. So if you do something wrong in the campaign, after you're elected, they can still come and remove you from the bench. And they're serious about it. And it makes you
It makes an impression.
It makes an impression. So back to the original question, clearly there are things that you can talk about the other candidates in my race. And I could say, that things that are factual, certainly I could talk about.
Who are you running against? It's Mr. Villafranco
Yes.
and
Mr. Meadows and Mr. McNicholas.
no, I have not heard. Well, Mr. Meadows, his sister came over, and then, but I've not heard who's the guy. Nicholas?
Michael McNicholas. He's down. He's down out of Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Villafranco contacted me, and then how come I didn't hear from you until now?
Again,
How did I finally run into you or something?
well, we were fortunate enough to see you at the 4th of July
Hooray! That's it. That's how
we saw you.
connected.
We were dueling old
Yes.
cars, hopefully to make it through the parade.
My 1928 Model A, which I can't get my horn to work. Ruga.
Interesting enough.
Did you guys see my car in the parade?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
We
you.
went right by you.
Yeah, what was that cool car you were driving?
We were in a 1966 Lincoln Continental convertible.
Uh-huh.
Four-door convertible.
That's why
There's
it looked presidential.
See, that's the
Like
that's
that.
most exciting I've seen, Mr. Walsh. Look at that.
That's right.
Impressive. Did the doors open the other way?
Suicide
Oh,
doors.
Suicide
did you
doors.
not?
The
Yeah.
back doors are suicide doors.
I didn't notice that. Too
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah, four-door convertible. It's fun.
Oh, I want to see that car close up.
So-
It's something when you're in the parade, you don't get to see the parade.
No, you don't get to see the parade. So it was neat. That car draws a lot of attention no matter where you go.
So it's a four-way race.
It is a four-way race, and
That's
I've just decided that I'm going to run on my own record. I'm not going to get into whether somebody did
Well, you have
this
a
or that.
vast record. You've gone from where the rubber meets the ground to the cerebral.
Yeah, what's interesting enough is I've probably had one of those careers where most people start at the public defender's office and work their way up and try to get to become in-house counsel. I kind of did it the wrong way, so but it's gone well.
It must have been criminal is very, very heart-wrenching, I would think.
It's challenging for a lot of reasons. For me, coming in and Diamond Liddy is the public defender, and she was gracious enough to entertain my wishes to come and do some of these things and show the kids that you got to help people. And how you help people comes in a lot of different ways. I've heard Rhett often talk about, sometimes helping people is, giving them a break, and sometimes it's cutting them loose, that tough love. And then you've talked about
Yeah,
that.
I spoke about, I know people in town who have had issues with addictions. And, every 14 days, someone dies from an overdose in Indian River County. Now, this is little Indian River County. Anyway, and they had said that some of them have stood before Judge Cox. And no matter what the situation, I've heard positive things about her. A, she was merciful and was forgiving and helped them along the way. Or B, she was dang tough on him. And later on, they go back to shake her hand and say, thank you, you saved my life. Various situations. And so it's hard to discern. I mean, I don't think I could do that. I think I'm too much of an emotional, artistic kind of guy. And I wonder how do you have an artistic side to you, or are you more of a black and white kind of, tell us about yourself.
I'd probably say I'm not overly artistic. Hopefully, my friends will tell you I'm entertaining to talk to.
Well, you get a little bit of Irish wit.
So, that's what you hope for.
You're 100% Irish?
I am.
Uh-oh, danger.
There you go. But I'm a little bit more practical. But again, what's interesting about this, and I'd have to say it over and over again, is running for judge or being a judge. If you are a good judge, it's not about you. It's about following the law. I mean, it really is. And you have to, and it's a hard thing, you have to take yourself out of the sympathies, take yourself out of the belief of whether you think the law is right or wrong. You have to interpret the law and then say, this is what it is, and this is what I have to do.
The rule of law, the rule of law is better than the emotion that we live with. And you can see this in the banana republics where they have a different law every day. The rule of law is so important to us, and the judges that dispense this, or that adjudicate this, have to be above reproach and look at things in a very even-handed way, which I think you will do. It's a challenge. It's quite a challenge.
You say the rule of law, but that works ruling in two ways. A rule actually being what, something that we follow, and the rule in fact of what is the importance that the law must rule, and it must be the enforcement. And I think you're correct. I mean, I think we have to, really, you look at other countries that don't have the security, the comforts of life that we have in this country. And it's awesome. I tell people all the time when I used to do jury selection, the first thing I would ever do is thank people for coming. But I also tell them to take a moment and think about what a great thing they're participating in. Because in a lot of countries, you don't have that. You don't have the ability to have a trial by your peers. And so that those people that take their civic duty and show up, not only should they be thanked, but hopefully they go home and realize what an awesome thing they participated in. Something that's been going on for 240 some years now.
All right, let's take a little break and then we'll come back. We're talking with Kieran Moylan, who is running for circuit judge. And in the studio, of course, we have Kieran today, but we have he's brought some of his family members. We have, let's see, hold on. We have Seamus, right? We have Liam, yes, like the actor, the famous actor. We have his beautiful little daughter, and her name is
Sloan.
Sloan, what a pretty smile. And we have her, what is that official title?
Nini.
Nini. Yeah, Nini, but I mean, she's from Brazil, but
She is.
she's a
helps
student.
with, she's a student.
What's it called?
Au pair is what.
Au pair.
She's no longer an au pair.
She's a very bright young lady who's running for office. Of course, we have David Walsh in
She's
there.
not running for office. She's going to college, as a matter of fact.
He's cracking up. By the way, we are looking for someone. Shane is probably going to be leaving here on good terms, right, Shane?
This is indeed a loss.
Yeah, I paid him to say that. What's that?
I found something, bigger and better coming along that's going to be more profitable for me.
Yeah.
And, provides me a couple, helps me facilitate a couple situations. I love a company car, so that my wife.
Sure.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's good, and you take care of that son of yours, Finnegan. But anyway, the bottom line is we're looking for a board op. So if you are one or you know someone who has experience in this area, please contact us. And we'd like to hear from you. Okay, today's broadcast is brought to you by Remax Crown Realty, Mr. King and Mr. King, two men who are father and son and have integrity. Also, today's broadcast is brought to you by Route 60 Hyundai, where you'll get a good service before, during, and after the sale. And you get a good deal during the sale, and you'll get a good deal of service after the sale. That's the saying I came up with for the Chiranza family and those that work with them out at Route 60 Hyundai. And finally, today's broadcast also brought to you by Dr. Tim Ioannidis, Treasure Coast Dermatology. Skin cancer is pernicious. It can kill you. Get a full body scan annually at Treasure Coast Dermatology. Dr. Tim. So, enjoying yourself there?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
We certainly can. You want them?
I wish I had eggs to give you.
Oh, no, these guys would eat you out. We
Yeah.
have dinner, and then an hour and a half later, we're having dinner again these days.
Yeah. Well, how old are you?
Hey,
11?
Dad.
10?
This one's 8, and this one's 9.
Yeah, I remember when I discovered he's about your age. All of a sudden, it was like, double lunches at school. And I used to be dreadfully thin.
Huh.
You don't want to make a comment on that? That was very kind.
Middle school.
That was very kind.
That was very kind.
Middle school, at our school, we're allowed to get 2 lunches,
Yeah.
You are?
as many as we want.
Where do you go to school?
Same as.
Ah,
Sloan will be a kindergartner there this year.
Well, now I'm in the primary grade. I'm in the Wait, no, he's in the primary department. I'm in the intermediate department.
You're gonna be in
so I have a photographer coming over here to take pictures. Yeah. He's a good guy.
I was just
And he'll be here before 10. So he's a very good friend. He lives in the woods.
Really?
It's by his own choosing, but he's a very good photographer.
What an extraordinary fellow.
Yeah. My way of keeping it, this way, he's great for us. I mean, he's that good,
Yeah.
but it's also a way, this is way he makes a little money.
Good.
And he actually went on, GoFundMe, and had a little thing, and you gave some money, I gave some money, a lot of people in town. I got over $3,000, and this is the new age, this new generation coming up. And he went out and got himself a camera. That's all he got. He got the money that he needed. That's all he got. No deceit,
I mean, what an expensive camera.
That's out there, but they're needy and expensive. They're expensive.
Are you a photographer too?
No, but I love big pictures.
Pardon me?
I'm not a professional, but I love take pictures.
Oh, you do, yeah. I try to document, important occasions and people that come in. It's good for my Facebook. It's good for, I think we're going to be off. We're not coming back, are we? We're not coming back. Or are we?
You'll be coming back for a very, very short segment.
Like how?
No, I take that back. One of these 30s is actually 60 at CJ Cannon. So no, you will not be coming back.
Okay. Now remember, now that we're on YouTube, everything is recorded in between. When we're not on the air, you're still on the air.
Oh.
That's why Joseph Sempervivo said, who's running for state committeeman. He said you should have a sign up there now, because this is pretty new to us. The police put that up there. They do a show here from 11 to 12.
Oh, neat.
I give them the airtime every Monday. So it's a community project, but they do things and they're buying this camera, and they said if I darken these windows, which I've just done, see that stuff, they would put in more professional cameras in here too,
Oh,
because
wow.
people are watching on YouTube and Facebook. Everything's changing in this.
Joe seems like a nice guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he seems like a truly nice guy.
Yeah, upright.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he just called during our interview. I don't know why he would call, because he knows I'm on the air.
Aren't these bug nets?
No, it's a shaving.
Who's that?
That's Dad.
When did you take that picture?
Just now.
Just now? Wait.
Yeah, he was taking a picture while I was talking.
Why'd you go like?
He's talking.
That was like.
Yeah. Maybe that's better. I don't know. I like all of them.
They're all fine.
I just found this bolt right here.
Okay, just put it there just in case they need it, okay?
Just like something might fall right.
Yeah, we can take a break if you want. Let's all, we should walk around. Let's go back into the kitchen and stretch our legs if you want.
You guys want to stretch your legs?
If not, that's okay too.
Sure. Just relax. I might take a walk around the earth. I'll take a walk around the building.
How the stars doing?
What about you?
What do you need?
Nothing.
Okay. Anybody
I'm
need
just
the
gonna walk around
bathroom?
the building.
Okay. Are they having fun?
They are.
Good. Did you get a word in edgewise?
Yeah. They're not leaving, are they?
No, they're just stretching.
Okay.
They're okay.
All right.
They do fairly
You
well.
got enough water, David?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
So did you decide you're gonna go with the 4 quarter pages
I
or the
didn't
2
hear-
half pages?
I sent her the email, so I didn't see anything from her.
Okay, I thought they're waiting for you for, aren't they waiting for you for, let's call her right now.
I don't know what
They're waiting for you for photos or something?
I sent her, she didn't respond to me. I sent her photos and artwork.
Yeah.
I sent her a link.
Yeah, I just shoot.
Hello,
Hello, Sandy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I do want to let you know you're on speakerphone. And I have this gentleman who's running for judgeship, Kieran Moyland. I got you on speakerphone. And he said he was thinking he was going to hear back from you. But so I want to make sure we get this going. That did you send to her, Kieran?
I sent her the
Logo
and pictures.
and pictures.
Yeah, did she get them?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I'm sorry I did not. I honestly have not had a chance in the month look at them.
No problem. I'm okay. Rhett was giving me a hard time that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, so as long as I'm covered.
I think we need to come to a decision, either 2 half pages or 4 quarter pages. Of course, being a marketing guy, it's very powerful. No one's ever done it, but I think that's great to have 4 quarter pages because you're gonna be. But I would go. The good thing about the half page is then you have a place for elegance and a lot of white space and keeping it clean.
Yeah, Sandy, it's kind of a branding campaign. So, I'm probably more into the actual name type branding thing than a whole
Saying
lot.
anything else.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, the brand, and then possibly,
I got an idea. Why don't you do 1 half page and 2 quarter pages?
look at that. See, he gets creative. This time
Look at that.
his shake is kicking in.
Oh, you're really great. I don't know why I didn't
See all
think of that.
see how the
somehow.
creative juices are.
Let's go with a half page and 2 quarter pages and keeping it clean. Almost, you're gonna leave?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have to go.
all right, well, we'll see.
But it's been a
Say
pleasure.
goodbye to Mr. Walsh.
A real pleasure.
So we're gonna get back on the
Good
air,
luck
but
to
I
you.
just wanted to make sure we got that all. Okay, I'll talk to you later, okay?
Go back 30 seconds.
Nice to meet you.
I don't know a word of it.
Coming back in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Okay, could you close the door, please, kids? Close the door behind Mr. Okay, we're coming back, please. Children? Okay. Slow. 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 All right.
that what it was meant to be?
No, I just made musical instruments out of everything.
You really do make music out of everything.
Yes. Hey, it's the top of the morning to you. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? And we're back on the air. It's another beautiful day in paradise.
Every time we start.
How you doing there,
always
Shane?
start being Irish.
Good to see you. Shane is going to be employed somewhere else. We're leaving on great and good terms because I posted this on Facebook and some mean-spirited individual said, are we not leaving on impeccably good terms, right? Yeah. Yes. And you like, I know you especially like working with Barbara. She likes working with you. She's devastated you're leaving.
So whoever takes my place, they're coming into a great place. It's like a family here. I'm sorry to, have to go, but I wish I had an excellent opportunity.
Sure. Yep. And he's a board op. And so if you are a board op or know someone who's a board operator for radio, we are looking for you. Now we'll continue our conversation. Today's broadcast brought to you by Route 60 Hyundai, where you'll get a good deal. And then after you purchase, you'll get a good deal of service. Promise. From the Taranza family, Route 60 Hyundai. Kiernan Moylan is my guest this morning. Good morning, Kiernan.
Good morning, Rhett. Thank you again for having me here.
We met a couple of years ago. You as I always call you a prosecuting attorney, which you are not. You're quite the opposite. You are a
Was a public defender.
public
at that time.
defender,
Yeah.
and you do that as do it as a gift back to your community.
It was a great opportunity to demonstrate to my kids that you help people and, when you can.
Now, before this, you worked for a corporation when you were younger. You were able to retire quite young.
Yeah, I mean, I for many reasons, but I did work for a big company, and as in-house counsel, very good company.
Yeah.
So, and then I went and I did some time with the Attorney General, which was again more public
Did
service.
some time. We're talking about crimes. You did some time with it.
You get into those terminology, I guess, but yeah. So.
And he's brought in his children today to be here. We have Sloan and Sloan. Hi, Sloan. Now, doesn't she? Did you ever see the movie The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music? Well, you need to see that. I'm going to bug your daddy to make sure you see it because she looks just like that little girl.
She does.
Doesn't she?
She does.
You know?
She does. Ask Mr. Palmer if he's ever seen Frozen, because I'm going to bother. You got to bother him about that.
Oh, Frozen. No, I have not seen Frozen. Should I see Frozen? My friend is an attorney at law up in Tallahassee, friends with the Bush family. His father was the Reverend for the Bush family. And stays up there in, what's the name of the town? Kennebunk. It was just up there again recently. But their father was and he has a son named Seamus. So what does Seamus mean?
Seamus is Gaelic for James.
James. I like the name though.
And Liam, who's also
Short
here,
for William.
is Gaelic for William.
Oh, is it? I like Liam. Like Liam Neeson, the guy who's the famous actor. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to be an actor, though, do you?
Who knows, maybe.
You're open to it, right?
Yeah.
And you're the eldest.
Yes.
And this is why he has that extra mature, sober. Yeah, my older brother was like that. He always took good care of you. Do you take care of your younger brother and sister?
Well, sometimes they can be annoying, but yeah, I love them.
Sometimes they can be annoying, but yeah. I remember my brother, I was too young to be, I was 4 years younger than my brother. But he would bring me home fake knives, like little plastic knives. And I remember him bringing them. He would always have some sort of a gift for me when he went out. And
You
I
ever
had to
heard
stay
of
home.
fake poop?
Oh, yes. Yes. You mean the dog poop when you put that on the floor and pretend that the dog came through? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that. Boys to be boys, you know that.
Nonetheless.
Kiernan.
Nonetheless.
So, Kiernan, is this your first foray into attempt to be a judge?
And to run for office, I did go through the appointment process, but this is the first time running for judge. The appointment process, when a judge retires midterm or for whatever reason leaves office, the governor can appoint somebody to become a judge. And you go through a local committee that's the judicial nominating committee. And then they send names up to the governor, and the governor picks one of those names.
Now, about you running for judge, because this is not a salary you need. Financially, you're okay. So you're doing this really to serve your community.
Yeah, I mean, you are paid and you're paid, and it's not insignificant. They pay you $130,000, $140,000. But no, I've been fortunate, and that's at this point, that wouldn't make a big change in my life.
So you can take that salary and donate it to me. That's all right.
See, look at that. See, the friendship has already started.
To clothe the naked and feed the hungry, which actually is our obligation.
It is.
What does Jesus say is true religion? But to take in the stranger, to take care of the orphaned, and to visit the widow. This is
Stewardship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the jail.
Yes. Jesus did say, he said,
Imprisoned.
Pardon me?
Imprisoned.
Yes, you visited me in prison. Very well spoken. Yeah, appreciate you. You boys are free to speak, by the way, too. You both are very intelligent, bright.
Our
And,
dad won't let us.
oh, yes, he will. He just wants you. He wants to be careful what you say.
He wants
You
us to be quiet.
know. Well, we do want to do an interview with your dad predominantly.
Yeah.
So, are you guys going to sing a song later today when we get off the air?
Never.
Never. You hear your sister had the guts at 3 years of age. She did a song right on the air earlier in the broadcast, and you two won't sing?
We do not sing.
Maybe in the future.
Maybe only in school concerts.
Oh, school.
But that's really it.
And your ages again are?
8 and 9.
8 and 9. Very well spoken. And Sloan is 3?
4.
Oh, 4. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
About to
Sloan.
be 5.
Yeah, with big, beautiful blue eyes and blonde hair.
Mhm.
And she's got a cute disposition and a little fake puppy dog with her that she wears on her head sometimes. So is this the total of your children?
These are my 3.
Okay. Any plans for more?
You know, at this point, I think we're focused on these 3.
You're Catholic.
I am.
So Catholics, of course, believe in just have as many as the good Lord. Or you're supposed to. Anyway.
Well, yeah, the Catholic believes in, managed it through the good Lord's ways. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, where did you meet your wife?
We met down in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale.
How?
Sunday afternoon, out and about at a restaurant.
Really?
Yeah.
And just started chatting?
We did. We started talking, and then I left with my friends, and she left with her friends.
How old were you?
I, at that point, was 29.
29.
Yeah. And she had told me where she worked, and I worked down the street. So I stopped by her bank. She is a banker still, and said hello and said we should go to dinner sometime. And so we went to dinner. And I think that our first date was not the ideal turnout that you'd want. I don't think it was the best date I've ever had. She'll tell you probably wasn't the best date that she ever had. And so she decided that we were going to go bowling for our second date.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did. And my wife is a very confident, driven, professional lady. And she, on the way to the bowling alley, told me that she was going to show me how bowling was done.
Uh-huh.
And so I think I probably bowled a 225 or 230 that day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of the people at the bowling alley were kind enough to quietly print the bowling scores off for us. I think she bowled about 100, 110. And I faxed them to her at work the next day for her. And that's where it all
How
started.
did you do so well?
You're lucky. I'm Irish lucky. There you go.
Was it really?
I
you
can bowl okay.
I guess so. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it?
It was all right. Yeah.
I don't think I'm happy if I get over 100. Yeah. We just went bowling the other day with Christopher, who's visiting.
I want to get over 100.
Do you?
Never.
I hope
never
I
happened.
do.
You guys who've been bowling recently, he took his nephew, Christopher, that's visiting him.
I've only gotten under 40, probably.
So,
No,
That's
you
it.
got like a 90 or something.
About 90.
Came pretty close, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, can we all go bowling together someday?
Yeah, sure, we can try,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, that's a nice facility they have here in Vero.
It is. That's run by a doctor, a chiropractor from down south of here.
He's a nice guy. I think he has a house here as well, but yeah, he has one
Okay,
down in
you have a house
Stewart.
here now.
I think so. He has one down in Stewart and one here.
Mhm. Yeah, he's has made some wise decisions, real estate wise. Okay, so back to you. What do you want people to know about you running for this? Well, first of all, it's circuit court. You're running against Mr. Villafranco, Nichols,
Mick Nicholas.
Mick Nicholas, who
Mr.
I've never
Meadows.
met, never been contacted by him. At least Mr. Villafranco has been up here. I've heard from you and but
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows. I don't know. I think I met him at CJ Cannon's. I know I met his sister, and she came in here. And that's that. So, what do you want us to?
You know, I hopefully people realize that not only do I have the experience necessary to be a strong and good judge making what we talked about, fair and unbiased decisions, but also that I have a record showing that I'm dedicated to public service. I mean, I'm not doing this for anything but to continue that commitment I have to public service. Clearly, I could go work back in a corporation or maybe not work at all, although I don't think that would work out for me personally. But you know, again, I'm committed to demonstrate to these three that are here today with us that we need to do the right things and help people.
Work ethic.
Show good, strong work ethic, and
Make
show
the
what
world
it
a
is to
better
be
place.
to make the world a better place. Exactly right.
That's a true statement. We have a box that says that on there.
Yeah, we live that at home. We live by the fact that we've got to remember that the world is not about us. It's about, you know, we're only a part of the big
One of
picture.
the 5 species.
That's one of the 5 theses. Yes.
I've always been an optimist, and I have to say that my heart is dissuaded. Of course, it is particularly right now because of what's going on in Dallas. You know, you don't shoot innocent people, and you certainly don't shoot cops. And this will not fare well because for anybody, because you don't shoot cops and get away with it. It's not going to happen.
Probably
and-
the SWAT will start coming.
Oh, the SWAT will come, but what will happen is if historically, if the rebellion in the streets, then militia law will have to prevail, and then people will lose their freedoms. I'd rather have God. See, I believe if we believe in God, Seamus, I believe if we believe in God, then we believe we're answerable and accountable to Him. And so we behave because of the code that we think that He would expect of us. It's called our conscience. But when that becomes seared and people no longer believe in a higher power that they're accountable to, they become reckless. And then if God, so under the fear of God, the respect of God, God stays in charge, and we submit to the code of ethics. If we don't believe in God, then we become God, and then man will rule over man. And when man rules over man because of his imperfection, it's usually with, it's not very well. You don't want to live under a dictatorship. It's a very unpleasant experience, but that's what will happen ultimately. So we have to be careful. How are you feeling? Are you feeling dissuaded with this whole situation? Are you?
I mean, you know, as again, I
Are you
mentioned.
upset?
Clearly it's sad.
What kind of world are we leaving for your boys, your beautiful boys, and daughter?
That's what my charge is, you know, again, to try to make the world a better place. I mean, frankly, in a selfish way for my children, but for everybody is the right thing to do. You know, again, it's a sad thing, whether it's, you know, police being shot or anybody being shot, or just the sentiment. Again, as I said before, the sentiment really concerns me. You know, as a judge, I'm charged with following the law, and that's what I'm going to do.
But it's almost like in 1984 is visiting us in that now that we all have cell phones, we all have cameras. Was this all going on before, and it was just not being reported?
Well, I think what you're talking about is the theory of perfect information. As we come closer to perfect information, does that actually change the world, or just get us to the point where we understand what the world is like? And that's the question I think you're asking. I think perfect information is the idea that we have a full understanding of everything that goes on. And I think as you see cell phones and cell phone videos and the way that local news can cover so much more. And I think that opens up to an understanding of a closer to perfect information. Do I think the world is changing? Again, it'd be hard because I don't know that. I don't have anything to base that on.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I didn't know, couldn't tell you 100 years ago were these type of things going on and we just didn't know about them, or now they're going on and it's something new and different. Clearly, to get on the internet and you can read about what's going on with the typhoon in Taiwan. They had a huge Category 5 typhoon hit Taiwan.
When?
It happened in the past 36 hours.
Really?
Yeah. And have there been typhoons hitting Taiwan? Certainly. I mean, it's clear, as much as they can go back here and when they talk about Bureau Man, they can talk about the climate changes of all the dirt and everything that's happened and all those things. So the fact that we now know that there's a typhoon that hit Taiwan, does that mean that there's climate change and that's something that we need to be understanding of, or has it always been going on? And it's hard for me to know that because I couldn't tell you what.
Well, like for instance, in the Bible it says, in the end times they will be lovers of self, and they will call that which is good evil and that which is evil good. I used to say that on the air 23 years ago, and I thought maybe by the time I was an 80-year-old man or on my deathbed, we would come to a point where we've gone downhill that bad. But in the past, I would say the past 10 years now, I believe it's happened now. And people, fighting each other on the streets. You even find women, maybe even more than men now, are extremely aggressive drivers and do not know the elegance or the benefit of being kind, because when you let somebody out in traffic, don't you feel wonderful? Don't you feel good? And then have you ever noticed you let somebody else out in traffic and then you'll see up ahead they let someone else out? And so it's like a pebble in a pond. And I'm just very worried about our society being lovers of selves.
Well, I hope that by the time you turn 80, which I guess we're about 18 years away, 17 years away, that the world has been markedly or noticeably improved. Kindness is infectious. Clearly, I hope that everybody that listens to this radio today decides to change one thing about something they do today to help somebody else.
And it does affect. Let me ask you this: the second president of the United States was John Adams. Now he had a family like you have right here, and I don't know if you've seen the HBO special.
I have not.
I particularly promote. I do not subscribe to HBO because I don't like some of the other things they have on HBO, but I love the movies that they have funded. So they take some of that money and they put it towards Winston Churchill, et cetera, et cetera. This one on John Adams is spectacular. And in a typical, 2-hour movie, you cannot cultivate a persona or go into the character of somebody. Whereas if you have these 6 DVDs, and Abigail, his wife, they got into Abigail, and you see because of the time they were allotted that Abigail had a profound influence on the founding fathers and the foundation of this nation, his wife. And also, he was a farmer as well as an attorney, just like yourself. He, when he signed that declaration, imagine right now you're going to sign a declaration and there's a 90+% chance that you will have ruined your boys' lives, your daughter, because they're most likely going to hang you by your neck and they're going to take your farm away, and yet you have the guts.
Conviction.
I mean,
yeah, that's true conviction. I mean, you're that's believing in the greater good.
Because I see that kind of man in you, and that, I don't have children, so it would be easier for me to say, hey, I'm going to go up to war for my nation, or I'm going to sign that declaration. My life would be the only life that would be ruined by that. And of course, there'd be some people that listen on the radio probably be happy that I was gone. But you as a father, can you imagine having that on your shoulders and the guts it would take to sign that declaration?
We all want to believe that that when we got to that point, we would do that thing. But clearly, that is a tall task, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's significant.
What's that? Oh, you want the headset? Okay. Well, anyway, so it's been nice getting to know you today. I appreciate you. I bet you didn't think you were gonna be on this long, but
Oh, I couldn't. It hadn't seemed like it's been that long. It's
Thanks for
been an
letting us
enjoyable.
get on the radio.
Yeah, it's been an enjoyable time here.
well, I
Shaking
thank you
hands.
because I think you're a very wonderful family, and you are
Thank you.
certainly welcome here anytime. Right? So make sure you listen on the radio sometime. And if I ever step out of balance or anything I need correction from or anything you want to promote, you just make sure you call me, okay?
Okay,
All right.
sounds great.
All right, great. So I want to thank, let's see if I get everybody's names. I have Sloan, and I have Shamish, and I have Liam, right?
It's Shameless.
Seamus. Seamus. And Sloan, yes. Hi, Sloan. And of course, your daddy, Kieran Moylan, who is running for circuit judge. Thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been wonderful. I appreciate you include the family.
And this,
Nini's here too.
and this adopted member of your family who's come up from Brazil, and your name again is?
Nini.
Nini.
And
Oh,
Murphy.
and Murphy, the little doggy. All right,
We
thank
actually
you.
have another dog at home that's
What kind?
real.
What kind?
A Maltese and
A
a
Mal- Oh, that's what I used to have, a Maltese. Little white one?
Well, it's a Maltese and a poodle mix.
Aha.
So it's kind of
Let's see, a Mal-Oodle?
multi-poodle.
A multi-poodle?
Multi-poo. Multi-poo.
Multi-poo. Okay.
Multi-poo.
All right. Multi-poo. Yeah, I'm sure there's multi-poo coming down. You gotta clean that up, don't you? The poo?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She does it too much. Especially inside the house.
All
She
right.
never does it outside.
Oh, well, she'll learn in time.
She'll die.
Okay, we gotta say bye-bye. Everybody say bye-bye.
Say goodbye. Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye. This is the mayor.
Moylan's out. Not put Judge out. Right, we're done now?
Yeah. What do you think of that? How cool is that?
I hope that our, you might just.
Oh, yeah,
give
we'll
us
wait.
one.
Dada, where are you going?
Well, we're gonna check with your mom.
Call
see if she's done.
Bixby.
We're gonna see, we might have our picture taken here, guys. So Mr. Bixby can come and take our picture.
You look really young in this picture.
Honesty, the honesty is brutal.
Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so.
Well, thank you for having us. It was great to talk to you. I had a great time, so thank you for having us.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say, Liam. Uh-oh, what's happening? Okay, good. It looks like that. That's okay. We can leave that. It's not really necessary. Yes, I just want to make sure. I just bought this new on-air sign, and it was like $500.
It's not bang into it.
Yeah, we're not. It's not. That's, you can't do it. This isn't. Let's go back to the kitchen, all right?
Come on, guys, let's walk back there for a second.
Are you almost here?
What?
Okay, because I got the family waiting here for you. Okay.
No problem. It's good to see you guys again.
He's on his way. Should be about 5 minutes.
They played Shane's ring game a number of times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's right.
trust me, it at least keeps us entertained. It's better than no one coming by. They have these wonderful things called beignets.
So please support the whole
which helps fund the ARC and other worthy programs in our county. For information on hours and pickups, please call 772-918-4640, 918-4640.
Regal Paint Design Centers includes Vero Beads within its 11 locations throughout Florida. You can rely on Regal Paint featuring Benjamin Moore. They choose only the best experts and they assist you in any projects. From floors to ceilings, you're 100% covered. Find it all: primers, lacquers, solvents, interior, exterior paint, brushes, rollers, covers, painting tools, abrasives, you name it. Regal Paint carries the best and comes with directions from the
Oh, like old juice boxes? Yeah, that's a smaller room. Remember the Christmas story? Like, I choose to die out. They always listen to all the radio, they all get around. Remember that? No shoe track.
Yeah, but I've only played like segment 1 and 4, so this way I can play 1 through 4 and be all good.
Don't forget to, you ask around too for somebody to replace you, all right?
I'm looking. I've asked a couple of my old friends to see if they knew anybody.
Is there a broadcast school out at the college?
I think they have a station out at the college. I went to Connecticut School Broadcasting, which is down at Palm Beach Gardens.
They have one at Obviously, they have broadcast school. That's not calling it broadcast. Where's the broadcast? Really? Great idea. Yeah, did you give me that number?
Yeah, I wish I knew there was a broadcasting school in Melbourne. I went to Palm Beach Gardens.
Oh, yeah,
Now listen, Beverly, if they go out, you stay right with them.
Oh, no,
So what?
oh, they can all.
Oh, boy.
Do not step on the dock. The dock is broken.
Boys.
Liam. Hey, Liam, you don't have to come. Liam, just stay off the dock, guys. Here's Philip.
What kind of boat do you have?
Yeah, I know.
Can you get the whole family out on that wheel?
Well, yeah, we have one kid.
Oh, that looks big, huh?
Oh, they love it. No, they're different. They get different seating, but of course I can do. So, then we have,
What's up, Bixby?
Here comes the photographer.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing, Bixby? This is Bixby, the
St.
photographer.
Patty's Day today?
That's right.
You're actually your yard.
That's good.
Oh, right, I actually see you.
Yes.
No, no, because the lowest ranking, I was 50, but I gave somebody a break, and gave them 25, right? Then I could sell to you 25, I call this, I could start with it on their one. And then I take 50% of that, 1250, right? Then I had the 1250, then I had to take 50% on their one, 50% off the back. That's going down to $10 a spot. And then I had to keep all these records every time, and you got to sign these papers, and they make it so it's just, it's not worth it. It's like, you know, like, at least they changed the law, now you're on. Right? Now, the Villa Frank, in the days past, I would have to call Villa Frank, I would have to call the other two guys, would have to say, ready, that's not my job.
Thank you very much.
They have to call with a certain amount of time, and say, like, fine, right? 2 hours. Now, Villa Frank,
Now, the most trusted name in radio, Rhett, the mayor of the airwaves.
I know.
They're good, man.
What?
You know, guys, business.
What time is it?
It's 10:06.
Want me to make you a coffee in your glass?
No, I'm good. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. You're the best.
I know. Okay.
Okay, they're coming in any minute now, so.
I'm cleaning up.
Okay.
Out of your way.
Based on doing the game back, I didn't put batteries up the mouse in there because the batteries in this mouse died. And I had to get on YouTube, so if you need them, let me know. You can have them going. You want him to? Oh, okay.
Yes. But anyway,